we do have to look outside of ourselves and go, well, what can change? Is it something really small, like my sleeping position? Or is it something really big, like the number of people I have to get into my group? Maybe I do have to do that webinar I've been talking about and I've been cogitating on and thinking about. And even if no one turns up, what am I going to do with that information? No one turned up. Am I going to cry into my socks? Or am I going to go, well, no one turned up because I didn't advertise it properly. I didn't tell anyone. Or I've advertised it really well. I've told everyone, still no one came. What's wrong? Let's speak to some of the people who started to engage and didn't finish engaging. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, and practitioners, responding directly to the needs of a practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business, something clinical, you'll get the variety you need to enjoy and stay motivated in practice. So thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for our episodes. If you'd like more support, get in contact, and I look forward to working with you soon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. Now, we're at the end of the month, which also means we're at the beginning of the month. And there is, as you know, the worksheet in the podcast paperwork. So we always ask, what is your biggest win from last month? But this month, let's project forward. Here we are. We're getting on in the year, aren't we? How did that even happen? 1 minute we've got Christmas and school holidays and presents and chocolate. And now we're coming into chocolate season again. But the year is getting on. And so we do have to think about what's happened in this quarter almost. We're 3 months in. What is happening? We're at the end of March. What have we done? What have we achieved? But where are we going? What is our next move? We've been doing a lot of masterminds and workshops in the Academy, and the Academy is about to close, right? Because in April, we're working on coaching the client. And so we're going to close again. We might reopen for just a little bit, and then we will reopen in August. Just see how we go. We're about to close because we've got, and you're going to be thinking, I don't want to do anything in April. There's Easter and I'm going to be on holiday. Most of it is going to be audio. So most of it you can listen to anyway as you go, and it'll be email systems rather than you trying to be on Facebook and do those things. So you can do them when you want to, because it's all about coaching the client coming up. So I've got a lot of work and a lot of time I've got to invest in creation of product. Now, I've already created product. I've seen clients. I've worked with clients. And when I look back at this last quarter, rather than just this last month, I can see where my business has changed, where things that I enjoyed doing have changed. I've started writing a book. So I've got very clear objectives of how much I have to get done each quarter so that it is completed July, so that by August I can get into the printing process so that I actually have the product to me in the September. It's all proofread and done in the September. So I've got some very strict timeframes that I've got to work to coming up. Now, yes, we always look back at the end of the month, don't we? But we've also got to look forward because this is an end of quarter discussion. So what have I achieved this quarter? What has gone well? What hasn't gone well? But what do I intend to do to recover from what has gone well? What hasn't gone well? What do I want to move forward on from what I've gone well? Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see I've got a whiteboard behind me because we've been masterminding in the Academy. And so those people that I've been masterminding with, where are you in your ideas system? You've created ideas around programs and packages for your clients around where your business is going. And so now, where is your next step? How have you gone when we look back at what you've done in that big picture work? Because when we're reflecting on small picture, how did that individual consult go? How did that individual thing go that I created, that product I created, or that herbal mix I created, or that compound I created for a client? How did it go for them? We ask them, don't we? How did that go for you? How did that work for you? And the same thing has to be about our small things. How does my new design of my office work for me? Well, I have to say that I dropped that whiteboard on my foot. this new design of my office isn't really working for me, and I'm going to have to move things around a bit. I'm going to have to gain some more space behind my desk. And what are my goals for next month? But did I achieve last month's goals? Am I placing myself under too much pressure from last month? What pressure am I placing on myself? What pressure are other people placing on me? Journaling, I'm not great on journaling, I have to say. I'm more of a dot point kind of a girl. I've taken up quite a bit of art recently. In the evenings, I sit in front of the TV and I've got some watercolors that I sit there with and dropped them all down my front the other night. That was brilliant. Again, I need to reflect on the fact that I sent it all down my front and everything had to go in the wash. So I've reflected on my space, and I've got myself a little easel coming that can go on my lap because I don't want to get up from the sofa. This is my evening. How am I going to change where I am in the space I'm in to suit my new evening activities? So it's reflection. I didn't have to write it down. I just had to think, oh no, I've spilled it down my front. What am I going to do about this? Now I could have just shouted a bit and washed my brushes and got changed. But I thought sitting like this isn't doing anything for me physically because I'm all scratched up trying to hold everything. The cat is pretty unhappy because I've got a book in his space. So how can I make this a whole better system for me? And sometimes just reflecting on some of the simple things that went wrong. I've got a sore back at the moment and I know it's because how I'm sleeping. It's a very small thing. It's a bit sore. Massage therapist will deal with it, will be gone. But this is something I have to reflect on. So how can I sleep without that pillow under my shoulder so that I don't get this crick in my back that I wake up with? So we've got the small things and we have the big things. The budgeting. I'm at the end of the month. How has my budget worked? Those people in the academy, of course, you have the budget spreadsheet to work through. But how is my budget going? Am I reaching my targets? What can I do if I'm not reaching my financial targets? Okay, I can quit, obviously. I'm done, finished. I'm not reaching my financial targets. Or maybe I have to spend a little bit more time in my other job to gain some more money over there. Or what can I do differently in this job now to offer things differently, to create differently, to develop something differently so that I can earn the money I want within the business that I'm in and I can enjoy it even more? Is it that I need to start working with groups because people are being told by the media that things are really tight in their purse? It doesn't matter that things are tight in your purse. You feel if something's tight in your purse. You don't need the media telling you 24/7 that your mortgage has gone up. Thank you very much. I knew that. I got a message from my bank. We've placed pressure on ourselves and others are placing pressure on us. There's external pressures. You go to the supermarket and there's fewer and fewer things in there because the price is going up on everything. So we don't want to think about that. We need to think outside the square so that we can still put as many vegetables in there, so that you can still buy sauerkraut rather than fresh sauerkraut rather than making it yourself if you want to. We do have to look outside of ourselves and go, well, what can change? Is it something really small, like my sleeping position? Or is it something really big, like the number of people I have to get into my group? Maybe I do have to do that webinar I've been talking about and I've been cogitating on and thinking about. And even if no one turns up, what am I going to do with that information? No one turned up. Am I going to cry into my socks? Or am I going to go, well, no one turned up because I didn't advertise it properly. I didn't tell anyone. Or I've advertised it really well. I've told everyone, still no one came. What's wrong? Let's speak to some of the people who started to engage and didn't finish engaging, because it might just be the name of my product. It might be the cost, but it might also be the name. It wasn't enticing enough. We didn't talk about the problem and the outcome like we should have. We have to do that reflection on what has worked, what hasn't, and since we're at the end of a quarter, what are we going to do going forward? How are we going to improve things for next month or just change things? It might be that you need to change your office around like I do. I need to move my desk out a bit. What is it that you need to change? Adjust, update. All right. This podcast is really all about you. It's about you. Let me think back. How did I go with my clients? How did I go with my ideas, my programs, my packages? What haven't I shared with the world? What is it that I need to do going forward to gain more traction or gain more clients or have more eyes on the prize, more people seeing my content, even if they're not purchasing right now, just to increase my list? What are the things that I can do to do those things? So I want you to think about that. I want you to have a little thought and a think and a write down and maybe check your figures, go back and have a look at your stripe numbers, go back and have a look at your diary. By looking at your diary, things might pop into your head about what you should or shouldn't have been doing, or about somebody you could follow up, find out why they didn't purchase. Following up is really important, and making sure that all your follow-up systems are in place. So happy end of quarter and happy beginning of quarter and beginning of the new month. And I look forward to catching up with you really soon. See ya. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.